I want you to think about something for a second. You've ridden an elevator 100 times. You know your floor. You press the button, the doors close, and you stop thinking about it. That's what I did. That's what anyone does. I live on the 7th floor of a 9-story building. I have lived there for 3 years. I know every floor, every neighbor, every creak in the hallway carpet. So when the elevator doors opened that night and the number above the door read 11, I didn't panic. I just stood there. Because the part of my brain that handles impossible things hadn't turned on yet. It didn't know it needed to. The hallway stretched out in front of me, the same way my hallway does. The same off-white walls, the same industrial carpet in that burnt orange color that every building from the 90s seems to have. But there were 12 doors. Not 8, not 10, 12. I counted them twice. My floor has 8 apartments. I've borrowed eggs from 7C. I've nodded at the guy in 7H for 3 years without knowing his name. This floor had 12 doors and I didn't recognize a single one of them. The numbers were wrong too. They didn't start at A. They started at something I couldn't quite read, like the print had faded, or like my eyes kept sliding past it. I should have let the elevator doors close. I know that now. Instead, I did the thing that no one should do. I put my hand out and held them open, and I leaned into the hallway and I listened. And it was quiet. The specific kind of quiet that isn't peaceful. The kind that means something nearby has stopped moving because it heard you first. I counted to 5. Nothing. I told myself it was a glitch. Old buildings get strange. I told myself I'd pressed the wrong button, that I was on a different floor, that there was a simple explanation waiting for me in the morning. And then, from somewhere down that hallway, from behind one of those 12 doors, I heard someone knock. 3 times. Slow, like they already knew I was standing there. I don't know why I stepped out. I've tried to explain it to myself since then, and the best I can do is this. The knock didn't sound threatening. It sounded like a question, like something on the other side of that door was as confused as I was. I walked slowly. The carpet muffled every footstep the way carpet does, and the hallway smelled different from mine. Mine smells like whatever Mrs. Patterson in 7A is always cooking. Garlic mostly, and something sweet. This hallway smelled like nothing, like air that had been sealed in a room for a long time and hadn't moved. I stopped in front of the door the knock had come from. There was no number on it at all, just a small dark rectangle where the placard should have been. And under the door, no light, not even a sliver. I stood there for what felt like 2 full minutes. Nothing. I'd almost convinced myself to go back, almost, when the door opened. Not all the way, just a few inches. No one pushed it. No hand on the frame, no movement, no shadow crossing the gap. It drifted open the way doors do when the pressure in a room changes. The inside was dark, completely dark. But my eyes adjusted the way eyes do, and slowly I started to make out the shape of a room. It was laid out exactly like mine. The same entryway, the same angle of wall where the kitchen would begin, the same window at the far end. Except where my window looks out over the parking lot and the gas station on the corner, this window looked out over nothing, just white, completely flat white, like a wall, like a painting, like the world outside had simply stopped. I pushed the door open the rest of the way and walked in. The floor felt normal. The walls felt normal when I ran my hand along them. But every surface was bare. No furniture, no rugs, no fixtures in the light sockets. Nothing personal, nothing that said anyone had ever lived there. Except one thing. On the kitchen counter, and I want you to understand how completely still and undisturbed everything else was. On the kitchen counter there was a single coffee mug, still warm. I know because I touched it without thinking, The way you reach for something familiar without deciding to. It was warm enough that someone had made it recently. Warm enough that whoever had made it was still nearby. I put it down and I walked back toward the door. And the door was closed. My heart didn't pound. That's the strangest part. I felt completely calm the way you feel calm in a dream when things that should terrify you just don't. Because some part of you has decided to see what happens next. I tried the door. It opened. I stepped back into the hallway and I looked towards the elevator. Still there. Doors still open. But before I walked back, something made me look down the other end of the hallway. The end I hadn't walked toward. And there was a mirror at the end of it. Floor to ceiling. The kind you'd see in an old hotel. And in that mirror I could see myself, standing exactly where I was, in exactly the right position. But my reflection wasn't moving. I raised my hand. My reflection didn't. It just stood there. And then very slowly it turned and walked away down a hallway that didn't exist behind me. I walked back to the elevator. I want to say I ran, but I didn't. My legs moved calmly and my hands didn't shake until after the doors had closed behind me, and I heard the mechanism engage. I pressed 7. The elevator moved. That normal, mechanical, completely reliable movement. And when the doors opened, I was on my floor. My hallway. 8 doors. Mrs. Patterson's garlic smell. The guy from 7H's welcome mat with the faded letters. I went inside and I sat at my kitchen table and I didn't sleep. Not because I was afraid, exactly, but because I kept thinking about the mug. Someone made a cup of coffee on a floor that doesn't exist, in a room with no furniture and no view, and they left it there warm. They left it there like they'd stepped out for just a moment, like they were coming right back.